maybe,
It might be something to look at with fun.
well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe what I can, because, you know, we're gonna have our applications due in mid-November, you know, the more we can, but that would have to be something we will order on.
Yeah, the closest would be, it's starting order.
Is north of the Foreman border?
Yeah, we're north, we're on the east side of 49.
I see.
Because Epic Church, Fairhaven, that's all
border.
Yeah, it's all border.
Fairhaven, well, actually, you got probably the quadrant.
Yeah, they do. I think Fairhaven probably uses it, who knows.
Well,
yeah, orders all of that.
I'll take it off your hands. I'll see if Mike Berry would be interested in entertaining an application. I know they're going to try to go in with for the Market Greenway. They're going to go in for its harbor. So
yeah, we can always try to look to see. Did we talk about moving Tuskegee over to their project that's coming down Waverly?
Oh no, that hasn't been spoken about. I mean, again,
was that same? There's like a Munson ditch through there. We talked about.
Yeah.
Like to try to get over west.
And I think that would still be great if you're connecting into the border.
Right.
I haven't heard.
I think that trail leads to Waverly. That's a brickyard trail.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think I should kind of return back on that one.
Because they came down Jackson Boulevard across. Remember when you did that project across Jackson?
Yeah.
And then they tied into our western.
I thought they were
They tied into Prairie View.
I'll be right back. Yeah, no, let's
Oh yeah.
George?
Hello.
What is spring?
No, I know, but I was warning you. Oh, she did.
Oh, maybe I do. Maybe I just don't. I tried to do that for 2 years. Mark probably does.
So we're live?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, probably I do that. I was there 30 years. I had him not know.
Oh my gosh, he knew every soccer player. Their best friend was a friend of mine from high school. They would always show up at our Bishop Mountain and talk soccer the entire
So yeah, big guilty. You're George guilty of that.
Yeah. Brian Murray came to our sectional.
Oh, last night?
No, that was a couple weeks ago. And Kayla, who was the goalkeeper when we went to the state twice, she's now playing. She quit, and then we haven't gone to state since she quit as goalkeeper. But she started as a freshman for Lake Forest on softball. She led the state in hitting with 623. Showtime? Ready to go? Let's start with the plan. Mr. Colvin, will you start us off?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The minutes of the August 30th, 2022 meeting are on pages 1 through 3. Does anybody have any additions, corrections, comments? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Koppel made the motion. Mr. Liddell seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. So moved. Public comment. I didn't see any chief for the public comment today. Okay. We'll have, is there anybody here that wants to make public comment on any of the agenda items today? If not, thank you. Planning, we'll go right into it. Resolution 2219, a resolution adopting New York City TOD funding program eligibility, supporting report and scoring criteria.
Good morning.
Good morning.
She was here.
I'm here. Good morning, everyone. I presented this resolution in the last PPC meeting. However, we had some technical issue with the report, and that's the supporting report that, like, when people applying for a specific TOD planning or implementation, they will use this report as a reference. I'm not going to present the report. We send the link. It's already listed in our website. But what's included here, and I think the way you look at it online is better to have it as a 2 pages and the cover page by itself. So because there is a map, some of the maps or tables just taking 2 pages. So that's the best way to view the report. So I'm not going over that, but like what we did here is, of course, we have an introduction. We had all the committee, which is the land use committee. They were overseeing this report step by step, and also all the communities that are included in this report. We have like 18 stations, 13 South Lake Station, South Shore Station, and also the West Lake Corridor. We have the new 4 stations that we have or proposed. And also we have 5 bus stations, 1 in Valparaiso and 2 in City of Gary, and also we have another 1 in Maryville at the Century Plaza, and the last one is Chicago downtown here. So these are the areas are eligible to apply for the TOD funding, planning, or implementation. And I'm not going through all of that, but like we just talked about the TOD program, how we support the RDA and NICT's effort on the train stations, and then we did some analysis showing here on the map the transit frequency map, which is showing also for the buses specifically along Broadway. That's why we have almost like 4 bus stations and also the metro center in Gary as like they were selected for this program. So we're talking about how we do the evaluation and analysis. We included the population density, employment density, housing, the walk score, bike score, transit frequency, and transit ridership number, and also if we have any TOD plan, and that's like give them a weight or score, but also we did analysis to show where they are with that. So this table is showing all of the area. We have some adjusted acres because some area in like Dune, around Dune Park Station, Miller Stations, are mostly the National Lakeshore, which is, you know, like if we looked at the census tract, is sometimes it's close to 2,000 acres. And we cannot consider all of that, so we had to adjust the acreage for some of these areas. So this table will include all the information for every station and how we make recommendations about what's the pros and cons, or what's missing, and what's the good inputs or good elements that we already have. We give some examples about successful TOD area. We have a lot of analysis showing the variation here in every element that we included from housing, employment, walk score, and bike score. I presented that in my presentation last time, and then we had a classification of the TOD 1, 2, and 3, and 1 basically it's mostly in the urban core communities. The TOD 2, it's suburban communities like in Valparaiso, Maryville, all of these communities. TOD 3, which is a commuter community, so they don't have the urban character, but they have a very active, very viable train station, and they have a good ridership. So it's still like, and we propose like a different components for every type of a TOD. Here is showing, and I showed that in I think in my last presentation, the comparison between employment and residential. If we have the green and blue color are very close on So we talked about the consideration that we should have in the near transit area, and also the investment type. So when we have the TOD progressing, some communities are really ahead of the game and they already planned, and they have TOD plans and they start working on the implementation, but maybe they need to add like sort of affordable housing, some more amenities to make it more livable as a TOD area, walkable area. TOD emergent, maybe they have plans, but they don't have, they are missing some of the components that need to be added. And also the TOD restricted, and that's the area specifically along the National Lakeshore or the National Park surface, because of the like the landscape of the area. They don't have room to have like really the elements of the transit-oriented development. So in this one specifically, we would like to improve accessibility to these areas. So because it's really still attracting like the Doom Park or Miller Station or the Portage, they still have a significant ridership, but like we would like to have a good accessibility plans to these areas and using transit, walking, biking, and that's will be the focus of this study. So these are all the proposed area of the map and showing the TOD 1, 2, and 3. And we have most of them are TOD 2. We have 12 of them. And then we have a balance between the 3 and 1. So in this one, so we're showing here for a TOD 1, what's the desired elements, what type of land use, what type of density, the building heights, how many stories. It's usually not less than 4 stories. The density of housing should be between 15 and 25. And that's basically in Hammond and city of Gary and like could be East Chicago to one Michigan City. So, and then the type of network connectivity, accessibility, and the public areas. I'm not going to read all of that, but I'm just showing you how we did that. So the first one here is the Hammond South Shore and West Lake gate stations, because they combine both of them now in the with the West Lake. They are moving the train station in Hammond to be in the lower level, and then the West Lake would be on the upper level. So both of them are in the same location. So what we do is we look at the land use and describe that, and describe also the network connectivity, and then talk about the bike and pedestrian within the area, the public area, which including parks and parking within the area. And then by the end, we're making some recommendation and what type of funding that they should apply for. So this is an example and so on for other station. That's the Gary one. So we have a description and we have a recommendation for all the stations. And by the end of the report here, we're having also the appendix, which is showing how we got the data, how we got the bike score, you know, like within half a mile. It's showing that for reference if the community would like to look into that. So that's basically what's inside the report. I'm encouraging everyone, even if you don't have a TOD, to just to take a look at the report. It was a great effort working. Here we have George Pavel was chair of the land use committee, and we worked with all the communities. It was a great effort for the last 2 years or so. Any questions?
We get a hard copy of this?
Yeah, once we print it, yeah.
Okay.
We're taking that to, we're asking for recommendation to take it to the executive board on October 20. Once we have that, we will start doing the procurement for printing.
All right, thank you.
In the meantime, so the draft is available online.
Yeah, it is available.
Along with the scoring criteria.
Right.
Yeah, everything, all the attachment that you have.
And please comment on it before we go to press.
Yeah, please, yeah.
My question on the
train and buses.
Because the resolution only identifies 7 or 8 of them, but,
Yeah. The resolution identify what? It's not the 18? I don't think it's we're writing here about the 18 in the resolution. We're talking about the whole thing about the report. It's showing that, and I think also we have the handout showing that we have 18 stations. Okay.
just want to make sure that we identify for communities where all the 18 are, because resolution
Yeah.
gives us an idea of examples of
Yeah.
where specific needs are.
Yeah, and the resolution basically is just to adopt the funding program. So because we're adding that to the NOFA, so that's the main thing that this is an addition to the NOFA now, the TOD program. It's a new addition. So that's what we're asking for. But like the report is, it's more detailed and all the communities that are eligible, and also with the NOFA will provide mapping for all the 18 stations of the boundary.
And I believe that all of us should be interested in the region. This gives quality of life, quality of place to the region as a whole. It's somewhat of an economic driver, but also more importantly, just gives our existing citizens quality of life.
Yes, that's the main purpose. So I'm just asking to make recommendations for resolution at 2219. We take it to the executive board on October 20.
Any additional comments, questions?
Motion to recommend?
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Odell seconds. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Second is unanimous.
Thank you.
For a recommendation to the next executive board meeting.
I have to leave the meeting because I'm traveling to the MPO conference. Yeah. Right.
You're permitted. Programming, public comment on resolution 2220.
I didn't realize I had a secret picture, but I guess I do.
Well, you got a nameplate there. You don't have to stay here.
I'm so used to sitting in the back at the children's table, so.
Well, anyway, we're working on resolution 2220.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman and other members of the TPC. I have one resolution amendment before you. Resolution 22-20 is for amendment 22.07 on pages 7 to 22 of your packet. The projects listed in these amendments were released for a public comment period on September 12th and closed on October 3rd. At the close of business on October 3rd, yesterday, NERC did not receive any comments for the projects listed in the proposed amendments. The public comment report is shown on page 6. And prior to sending the amendments out for public comment, we sent them to the amendments to members of the Intergovernmental Consultation Group, or ICG, for their comments, and we did not receive any technical comments from the ICG. Amendment 22-07 contains projects for the fiscal year 2023, 2024, 2025, and 26, and include 5 projects for NDOT. One was a new environmental mitigation project. There were 2 new ITS traffic management system projects. There was one project that had PE funds added for 23 and 24. And that was for the Pell study on US 30 for Eastern Porter County and the 4 counties. One was a new roadway safety project. Michigan City had right of way added to one of their trail projects, the Unroad Trail. New York City had 3 projects of the Marquette Greenway Trail were added to this amendment. Portage had construction funding was moved to an out year for one of their projects, and Porter County the town of Porter had a project added to the Dunes Learning Center. Are there any comments or questions?
Anybody with any comments or questions? Just a reminder with our acronyms, ITS is Intelligent Traffic Systems.
Yes, thank you.
Just want to avoid using the acronyms.
Yeah. No, we are government, we are acronym. But thank you.
But we want to be inclusive also. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion for resolution 2220?
Motion to recommend.
This is amendment 2207. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Rendell, thank you. Any other discussion? With none, no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone against? So moved.
Thank you very much.
Next we have resolution 2221.
This was forwarded by Thomas Dow, our Director of Transportation, is not with us. So I'm kind of unfortunately I'm flying a little blind on this resolution. We have UPWP Amendment 1. Charles, do you remember what this was for?
What's that?
UPWP.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, no.
I didn't hear you.
UPWP Amendment 1. Do you remember what we submitted this for specifically?
There's various.
Yeah, there's various, I know you did.
Page 23.
Yeah, page 23 of the document is where the resolution starts. And unfortunately, I do not have a summary of what those changes were.
Do you want me to display it in the office?
No.
No? You want me to call Thomas?
This was going to suggest.
Yeah, let me give him a call.
Oh, you're going to call him?
For to take care of this.
Yeah,
This is the amendment though.
Correct.
Amendment 1.
yeah, Amendment 1. I just want to make sure we know what we're voting on.
It looks like, because they already, where the TPC has already recommended that we approve Amendment 1.
That's in the, that's looking ahead.
Well, we're the ones who are recommending.
Well, no, right, but it looks like it's authorizing the modified agreements and contracts
Right.
with this information. But yeah, you don't really know where it's.
And I really didn't have the hardware whenever last night.
Hey Thomas, in a bit of an awkward situation. The amendment number 1, I was not clear on the transaction between the amendment number 1 for our approval. So, is there anything we can brief the committee on or are you at this point for the vote? They cannot hear you, but I can dictate. Well, let me see if I, hold on, Thomas, hold on. Let me see if I can get you. I don't think they can hear you. You want to try. Say hello, everybody, Thomas.
Hi.
I think they can hear you, so go on. Just do your usual voice, will be fine. Go ahead.
Okay, great. There were 2 things that have been changed, or being proposed to be changed with the first amendment. The first one is we are shifting some from $55,000 funds so that we can reduce
Did everyone hear that? So yeah, two changes to this, to the UPWP. We shifted about $55,000 for TIP software to purchase TIP software, and then another $50,000 for GIS software to kind of cover our bases while we're still waiting to hire a new GIS person. We just lost our GIS person the other week to another job. So, any questions regarding these changes?
For clarity, you've got the funds, you're just appropriating money that has gone from employee to hire contractor, and also operating the program.
Yes, software, yeah.
Yeah, there's no change in the overall dollar amount for the program. We're just shifting funds around in terms of what's being used for the next usage.
And due to that, we have to basically print out the entire UPWP in its entirety for you all. So that's why I was asking questions about what exactly are we voting on. So I think with no other questions, Mr. Chairman, I'll give it back to you.
Well, we have Thomas. Does anybody have any questions for Thomas? We have none, Thomas, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
Thank you. I'm glad I was able to.
So moved.
Thank you, Thomas. Take care.
Mr. Copeland, need a motion for resolution 2221. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Odell, second. Any other discussion?
Didn't you say it was like 105,000 total?
105 total between the two.
Yeah, he shows it on that summary. He's got in the budgets.
Yeah. I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Well, once he said data collection and analysis GIS, it's in there. Yeah, he's got it. 52.5 and 52.5.
When we have 70 pages.
Yeah, right. I didn't know what page to look at. It's on the first two pages. You can tell.
So, with no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? So moved. Let's go on to topic for committee reports.
Okay, I will start in the sense that maybe what we should do, Charles, we're kind of maybe winging it a little bit here, but we have a NOFA coming up, and it's going to be released in mid-October. So as you see with the item number 7 on your agenda, or agenda item 7, you see all these different meetings that are popping up all over the place here, especially our topical, which is surface transportation, which is STC. We have LUC being the land use, we have 3PC, and of course EMPC. We're all trying to calibrate these meetings so we can effectively answer questions regarding applications that come in for the NOFA. I will speak specifically on 3PC. I've seen that as a committee I facilitate. For those in this room that know the Trails and Complete Streets program, we've been keeping kind of the even keel for many years. That will change. I will be submitting a new methodology for these multi-use trails that reflect the growing network that we have and the gaps in the network that we still need to figure out. I don't believe the current application is very equitable to try to stretch the program to communities that are outside the main core trail network that we have. So we want to make sure that we're bringing in as many new communities into that as possible. So I'm going to try to reflect the methodology, or at least the scoring criteria to reflect that going forward. So we've been very successful to this point, but what I'm going to do is put out a draft, and I'll be getting that draft out next week to the 3PC committee, and I'll be asking for comments on that, and hopefully we can nail that down at the next 3PC meeting, and that'll be part of the actual application that will be out there. Do you have any comments, Charles, or anything regarding NOFA?
No, we sent out an email last week or the week before. I know a lot of people received it. I've answered a few phone calls and a ton of emails on the NOFA. questions. I encourage all the cities and counties and municipalities to reach out to us. There's not a big change other than what Mitch has said. Yeah, we're kind of tweaking it. There's always some loopholes that we try to close up or some clarifications on some questions. And so we're just tweaking it as we go along to come up with a better NOFA. So if you submitted one last time, or if you want to pull up the one from last time, you can look at it and yeah, some of the dollar amounts will change, but for the most part, everything is somewhat the same. There are 3 big changes that I'm aware of outside of Mitch's changes that he's talking about. One, we have 2 new programs, or 2 of them, I should say. We have 2 new programs: carbon reduction program, which has a huge amount of funding. I'm calling it CMAQ Light because it is doing pretty much the same thing that CMAQ does, only it's concerned about with carbon reduction and not NOx and VOx and all those other chemicals that automobiles and our industry lose a reason with. The third change is Federal Highway's been talking a lot about safety this past year, and not just safety, but safety for the vulnerable roadway user, i.e. bikes and pedestrians. So how do we protect bicyclists and pedestrians on our busy roadways? So one of the things that I was told is that sidewalks on busy roadways, now I know busy roadways is very vague, will be HSIP eligible. So I'm going under the impression that anything that's a major collector and above, if you want to put sidewalks on it, that will be HSIP eligible. Systematic. So we'll just fill out the systematic HSIP form and submit that into NDOT. I'm going to run with that. So
just for clarity, too, most of the funding availability or no we're referring to is a few years from now is where it's going to be applied. What's the first year?
So we are looking at 27 and 28.
So 20, 27, and 2028.
Keep in mind that just to do a basic project, way the process has evolved, takes about 3 years. Even if you started today to go through the environmental process, it takes almost 3 years to do a project with federal funds. So you need to, the communities need to keep in mind, there's a cutoff around $300,000. Anything less than that is probably better to be thinking, might be thinking to do it on your own. I mean, we can give you funding for it, but is it worth all the time and effort to spend, say, $100,000 when you could do it with your own forces for, say, 20 or 30,000 and do it a lot quicker turnaround? But once you start getting about $300,000, it might be worth your while to come after some of these funding.
And as usual, we'll just leave it up to the community.
Right.
This is an opportunity, and it's a competitive opportunity at that. But,
yes.
And I'm glad for the listening audience, that might be viewing this tape later as well, about the time that it takes to do these projects.
Yes. And if you have a bigger project, please look at what the federal government has as far as competitive grants. They do, NERC just received a RAISE grant. The city of Munster just received a RAISE grant. So if you have a bigger project, you may want to look at going after those competitive grants. Those change every year. So if you, Mitch will tell you, he put in for the Marquette Greenway, he put it in 4 times. So, and the 4th time was a charm. So, yeah, keep that in mind.
Also, the agency over the last decade, I think we've been encouraging pacing of projects, just to make them affordable and put them in bite-sized pieces.
Well, yeah, that helps out the municipality as well as the group as a whole, because I mean, if you're putting up 20% of a $20 million project, that's a lot of money to spend in 1 year. And on the flip side, if you have a $20 million project, that pretty much is shutting everybody else out of the game. We'll have about $25 million in Lake Porter County and about $3 million in LaPorte County. So, and that's in 27 and 28. We might have some room in 26. I don't think, and there might be a little bit of room in 25, but for the most part, we're looking at 27 and 28.
We'll have to see how the project progresses and what money's left. We don't want to leave any money at the table, but I'm proud of our communities for sharing that pot, and that's really the impetus for this committee, is to make sure there's a distribution throughout the region.
And as most everybody knows, we did get more funds through IIJA, but any increase of funds was quickly eaten up by inflation. So, yeah, we got more money, but everybody's projects cost more money. So we're back to the same where we started with. So.
It'll be a pessimist, huh?
Realist.
We'll get there.
A realist.
We are there.
And one other thing with the T-Rock on 7.3 and 7.4, November 8th is election day. So T-Rock meetings are on November 1st.
First?
Yes. For us Saints.
Good catch.
Good catch.
All of the Saints.
All of the Saints, yes.
Any other questions or comments for Charles or Mitch? Do we have any more committee reports? Or? See how we have. All right. Before I go any further, maybe we should just go around and introduce ourselves to Laura. I'm Kevin Reisky, Porter County Surveyor.
Mark O'Dell, Town of Chesterton.
George Toppel, Union Township, Porter County.
Mary Candace, Town of Dyer.
Lisa Schrader, I'm at LaPorte District. I'm interim for Jessica Miller, who has moved on to Indianapolis. And
Well, welcome and good luck.
Welcome back again.
I'm back again. It's been a long time, but I'm here.
Charles.
Charles Bradsky, NERC short range planner, transportation projects manager is my official title.
We've got Meredith and Beth.
Meredith Stillwell, NERC staff.
Jeff Hewitt, Cherville.
Ryan Lissick, Director in Indiana.
Courtney Anderson, Server Group.
Rebate City Gear.
Julie Ritzler, NDOT.
Candace Edford, NERC. Torbaum, NERC staff.
Thank you all for coming. Do we have any more, we got for a topic about planning partners? Do we have anything from Dry Clean Indiana?
Yes, must have. You can buy the laptop. It's scary. You want to plug in or anything, or you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Lori would be disappointed if we didn't speak.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I'm Ryan Lissick, Director in Indiana for the second time. So we're working on a multitude of different green fleet projects. We have just completed the Michigan to Montana corridor project. We'll have a lot of white papers that will be coming out from the Department of Energy. We are working on the deployment of direct current fast charging electric vehicle charging stations. These are going to be faster than what you normally see. So for example, the one that's outside is 6.6 kilowatts. That's charging speed. The ones that we're going to be installing through the IDEM BW program are going to be 100 kilowatts charging speed. So with that, there's going to be 8 locations that are going to be coming to the NERC area, and we are continually working on our projects that we have existing with the different communities through the level 2 charging program. We anticipate that there's going to be another round of IDEM BW settlement funding, and per IDEM's admission, 59 projects have come to the area and have taken 60% of the total amount of the dollar value added. That means $18 million in grants have come to NERC area. So that's a huge win. During this last round of BW projects for just round 3, we were able to reduce over 4,718 tons of nitrogen oxides, 200,856 tons of CO2, 145 tons of particulate matter 2.5. So it's a huge success for this area, and so much so that they're going to be putting a priority down the southern end of the state. We continue to work on National Electric Vehicle Initiative, are also the NEVI programming, and with various other funding opportunities for our area to have these projects be deployed. And we're going to be seeing some really interesting opportunities coming available through that. We are working on a variety of different projects with municipalities for the upcoming NOFA, as well as many green fleet audits with our green fleet member communities. We are putting together a team to identify environmental justice or EJ needs for citizens to include in the opportunities as far as clean energy accessibility, clean energy infrastructure, and energy security. Please contact us if you would like to partner with us on this team. We are anticipating some large awards from the Clean School Bus Rebate. It should be coming any day now. And the school town of Munster should be accepting their new electric school bus within the month. And we wrote the grant for that. There are many opportunities through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and Inflation Reduction Act that can help foster clean air energy projects to our area. And now is the time to start prioritizing and planning these initiatives. We will be adding Route 30 to the Alternative Fuel Corridor nomination for this coming year. As it relates to the NERC Clean Air website, we're going to be updating it and with some new funding opportunities and events and we are co-hosting, so please watch the website for more info. We have a hydrogen webinar coming up this Thursday, and then in addition, we will be having a green fleet presentation on October 20th with NERC community members to tell their success stories. Any questions? Mitch?
Yes. Whatever it's called, right? The Inflation Reduction Act. Does that have any bearing on new stations we may be able to construct in the future here? I know they allocate quite a bit of money. Now, either that or the infrastructure bill, I wasn't sure where a lot of that energy, but I believe the last act did have some allocation for electric charging stations. Anyone done that, where that might go?
Yeah, the programs are still coming through, but what it did, it helped out with the tax credit rebates. With the electric charging stations, we're going to be seeing up to $100,000 or 30% of the total project cost per unit, charging unit, and whatever is less of that. Additionally, there is residential credits up to $1,000 or 30% of the total credit, whichever is less than that. And then the actual programs will be coming, and you know, the feds just haven't developed what those programs are going to look like yet. The money's there, but it is coming. I do think we're going to see some discretionary grant programs coming out later this year, and it will have a significant benefit to our area to apply as a group, just as another thing we're talking about here. As it relates to the bipartisan infrastructure law, a lot of that funding went to already proposed programs. So we'll be seeing, just like with the Clean School Bus Rebate, That was $500 million. They bumped that up to $965 million. We were able to help 52 schools in the state with those applications. Additionally, we'll see more emphasis on ports and overall freight planning and electrification projects. So additionally, on the CNG side and propane, it did extend the alternative fuel tax credit, which is a huge win for all of our municipal fleets that are running CNG. So, thank you. Anybody else?
What is the website? Do you have a website that has all this information?
Yeah,
I'm concerned about the corridor planning part of it.
Not so much on the corridor planning project end of it. I can send you some, so I'll follow up with you after our meeting today.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. Any other planning partners here that want to speak? We've got all the meeting days listed that are coming up, including our committee meeting, which will be next Tuesday, November 15th. This room at 10 o'clock. I have any other comments or anything good for the order? If not, we have a motion to adjourn. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.